Hey guys, first video in a year. I got kind of sidetracked by a bunch of stuff and like, I'm not on the homestead anymore, so when I'm not on the homestead, I don't do anything interesting. So there was nothing worth filming here. I do have a little garden in the backyard, but it wasn't worth like posting videos about. However, we have had an interesting change in plans, life plans. So we tried to buy the homestead, but it didn't completely work out. So instead, we've decided we're gonna pack everything up and we're gonna go van life it for a year and see if we can find a different homestead to buy. I'm both nervous and excited. My mother is like super excited. I'm pretty excited too, but like I'm nervous. I feel like it's gonna not be as bad as we're expecting. How are you doing, Lily? How are you doing? So as I said, our overall plan is to explore the US, possibly Canada if we can get a passport, but they're super expensive, and see if we can find somewhere that we want to live and start our farm, or my farm. My mother doesn't care what it is. I'm retiring my mother when I buy a house and she's gonna live in my basement. Our plan as of now is our last days of work are on the 10th, because that'll give us a week to completely pack everything up, haul it to storage, and then on probably like the 18th we're gonna drive to Seaside, Oregon, or somewhere in Oregon. It depends on where allows dogs and where doesn't, because we're bringing the dogs, and my dog's a horse. Then after that, we're gonna drive south and go to, I think it's a place called Newport. My grandma wanted us to check it out. So we're gonna be staying in Oregon / the coast for a couple of weeks. The beginning of October, we're gonna be going down to Denver, check out some of the old places I used to hang out, because I used to live there for like 3 years before I came up to the homestead. And then we're hoping to go, like, we're gonna kind of cut across to Kansas, because we're gonna go to the Newala Festival, and I have a freeze dryer now, which I will make a video about. We're gonna go to Newala, which is a Halloween festival, and I'm gonna sell freeze-dried stuff, assuming I get approved to sell it. If I don't get approved to sell it, I'm still gonna sell it somewhere. It just won't be at that specific festival. After that, we're gonna visit my brother or my aunt. I mean, we're visiting both of them, but the order of which we visit them depends on where Newala is. So we're either going to my aunt, then my brother, or my brother and then my aunt. And then we're gonna go down south to Georgia to see my sister, to kidnap my sister, because that's where she lives. She's gonna show us all the cool beaches that she goes to. And then we're gonna go to a place my mother wants to show her, but I don't know what it's called, so she'll have to talk about that in her blog. Then we're gonna go south to Florida, because even though we lived in Tennessee for 15 years, we for some reason never went to Florida. Like, we were totally fine spending 4 days driving to Montana, but we never drove 2 hours to Florida. So we've never been to Florida, we've always wanted to go. After that, we're going north, because my sister wants to move to Maine someday, so we're gonna check out Maine with her, see like if there's anywhere cool for her to hang out. And that's kind of the end of the plan. That's not the end of the trip. That's literally only like the first 3 months of the trip. That's the end of the plan. So we don't know what we're doing after that. After that, it's kind of gonna be where the force draws us. I'm setting up my old illustration pages and like gonna start selling art again to make money on the road. And after that, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna start selling prints at conventions. So depending on what happens, that last 6 months of our trip might be based purely on like what conventions I get signed up for and what farmers markets I get to sell freeze-dried candy to. But that's kind of so far out now that we're just like, we're not entirely sure, like, it's too far out to make a plan basically, because like a lot of this is gonna depend on how much money we have, what the weather is like, whether or not our van still works, because we just bought a van and we haven't test driven it. I'm hoping that this trip will also help train the dog, because the dog's fine, she's just hyper, so I'm hoping it'll mellow her out, because ultimately I'd like to train her to be a therapy dog, but she's too hyper. So I'm hoping being around people, traveling a bunch, like being around all different places is gonna help her mellow out enough that I can start her therapy dog training. I'm gonna start editing the YouTube videos. So my mother and I are both gonna keep our channels. We're gonna post slightly different stuff. I'm thinking we're overthinking the dog thing. I actually think it's gonna be fine because like any van lifer you watch has like 6 huskies living in their car. So if it was super hard to like deal with a dog, let alone 6 of them, I don't think people would do it. So she's mostly just gonna take up space in the car. She's like the size of 2 people. So she's gonna take up a bunch of space in the car. Babu's gonna be there for moral support because Babu weighs 3 pounds and doesn't take up any space. And I think we're overthinking it. I think it's actually gonna be easier to deal with than we're expecting it to be. I've used some of my credit card points, because I get points on my credit card, to buy a couple $100 worth of pet store gift cards, so that we don't even have to worry about buying her food the first few months. I don't know why the focus is like being so weird. If it's over 60 degrees, she's acting like the world is ending and she's going to die. Like she's a very whiny child. It's like having a 4-year-old stuck in your car. She used to be like a 2-year-old. Now she's like a 4-year-old. She's reached the point where she knows what annoys you and she's totally fine using that against you. She's feigning innocence right now by napping. This is never how calm she is. She's normally screeching at me to play with her. I love plants, and I've decided it'll be very depressing not to have any plants. So I'm taking the cactuses with us. My mom thinks the plants are going to make a mess, which they might, but I don't really care. I think Lily's gonna knock them down, inevitably. Like if the plants die, I can get more. These plants, though, I'm worried about, because this one's my baby, and I actually don't have anyone in my family who I trust to take care of this. You little crocodile? Hey, little crocodile? Are you a little crocodile? Yeah? Are you gonna go on a big long drive? Big long drive? Oh, you have a rash. Yeah. We're training her with come here, Lily. We're training her with a noselead. Because we're hoping, she hates it, but we're hoping that having a noselead will make her a lot less twitchy. Because like right now, if you take her on a walk, there is at least a 50% chance that she is going to see a squirrel and rip your arm off. So we're training her with a noselead. She hates everything about it. Oh, that's not how she normally reacts. Normally she tries to take it off. Good girl. Good girl. Are you a good girl? Are you a good girl? Yeah, you're a good girl? Yeah, because the noselead is way better. She hates it. She hates everything about it. She'll get used to it. She's only worn it like 3 times before now. Because I'm hoping that by the time we leave, we won't have to like, not manhandle her, but she does have to have 3 leashes and a hand on her handle in order to keep her from tackling every squirrel she sees. Come here. You can do it. Do you want pets? You want pets? You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. I was hoping she would sit here trying to take it off, but she's not really. She's already immune to it. Good girl. We have a lot of like, not paperwork to do, but like records. We need copies of like vet records and medications and just a bunch of stuff. So that's the stuff I'm stressed about. As you can tell, the kitchen's super messy right now, but that's my fault. I've been freeze drying stuff. I have a whole freaking pile over here of freeze dried stuff. And what I'm doing with this other pile is I'm trying to make like an instant rice mix, because all instant rice is cooked rice that's been freeze dried. So I'm trying to make like an instant rice that has like quinoa and barley and like 6 different kinds of rice in it, because I figure that'll be healthy. I'm trying to like freeze dry as many like MRE kind of things as possible, like actual decent food, so that we're not like as tempted to just go to McDonald's and like eat McDonald's every 5 minutes. Fortunately, we're also super broke, so we also can't eat at McDonald's every 5 minutes. Storage unit stuff is getting put away on Thursday, which is 2 days from now. And once it's gone, I feel like everything will seem less stressful, because right now it feels like we have tons of stuff to do and we haven't done any of it, even though we've done a lot. Like, it doesn't look like it, but we have. Once we've gotten rid of everything that we don't need, it's gonna be a lot less stressful. We have a month left before we leave, and in that time we're working our regular jobs to save up money, and we are setting up our social media presences, especially mine, because even though I used to be an illustrator, like that was my full-time job for a long time, I took like a 3-year break from it, and anybody who does like social media will know that if you take even a 2-month break from anything, people forget you exist. So I basically have to start from scratch to start selling art again. I'd show you the van right now, but I don't really feel like going out there, mostly because the dog will harass me if I go out there and I don't really feel like dealing with her. So I'm gonna link below to my mother's video, which goes more in detail into the van, like we actually go inside the van and stuff. Originally we didn't think we were gonna get a van because we have a very small budget. We are broke. So we originally did not think we were gonna get a van, and we were bummed out because my cousin had seen a van at the auction that had been like $800, and it was like in really good condition, and he never got back to us about it, so we had assumed it was sold. But as it turns out, he never got our text message saying we were interested in it, so he never got our message. And so my mom was just discussing some random thing with him and my grandma one day, and it came up and he was like, oh, that van's still for sale. So we have a van and we're so excited. That actually saves us money. Like, it was $800 to buy the van, but in order to get the car ready for travel, it would have been $500. So I'm pretty sure we saved a decent amount of money. Not to mention a decent amount of our sanity, because we can fit a lot more in the van.
Yeah. I got your floppy face. Little crocodile? Are you a little crocodile?